So today we will talk about what are some of the biggest mistakes agents make. And I think this applies not just to real estate agents, this applies to vast majority of people that are in sales, more so in B2C type of sales.
Yeah.
And the first one, I think...
Before we continue, let me interject. Let's introduce ourselves.
Okay, good idea. Good idea. You want to start?
Yeah, I'm Javier Perez-Cara. I'm here. I'm the Director of Growth at Citisphere. I'm here with our founder.
Yes, my name is Nikolai. I have founded Citisphere together with Julia, and we're rapidly growing real estate office with about 20 people as of today, end of February 2025. And I've been doing New York City real estate for over 10 years, sold, rented, leased hundreds of properties. And I'm excited to share some of the information that I found helpful and wish was available to me when I was beginning my career.
I love that. What are we talking about today?
So today we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes that a lot of real estate agents make, and not just real estate agents, but I think salespeople in general.
Absolutely. It's very important to keep, when you're in sales, it's like a sport.
Yeah.
You got to be on it all the time.
Yeah, you're running a marathon like every single day.
Yeah, and you got to correct quickly because otherwise your muscles can get hurt. Yeah. Your whole body can get hurt, just like in sports. So what do you think are those mistakes?
For sure. Well, I think number one is, and this is like super, super important, the clarity of what is like one of the main jobs of real estate agent. It's not the only job, but one of the main ones. And this is where everything begins, knowing where the clients are coming from. I think that is the key, because if a real estate agent comes into the office on daily basis, but they don't really get enough clients, or as a matter of fact, they don't get any clients, I think that's very, very difficult. And that's why a lot of people struggle, because they find a real estate office and that office says, great, we'll give you CRM, we'll give you the desk, you will pay us X, Y, and Z on your performance or a monthly fee, whatever the case is. But you're on your own to figure out where you get the clients. And I think that's very challenging for somebody who's brand new. I mean, of course, if somebody is established in the business, they come with their own book of business. That's a whole different story. But even then, experienced agents, like, for example, the agents that are joining us who have like 10 plus years in the industry, they're also joining because of culture, and at the same time, because they want a bigger capacity for business that they're doing in service. And, or maybe they're transitioning from doing a lot of rental business into doing a lot more sales business. So again, where are the clients coming from? Like that is where everything sort of starts and begins, and you build up upon it. That's the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, because that also tells you, like, you mentioned the people who maybe are getting no leads, or who are getting leads and they don't know where they're from. Or also there's the people who are getting like way too many leads from all different sources, and they all require different kinds of services. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to service, like people who are trying to do commercials and tenant rental and buyer side and sell side, and they're trying to work in FISBO. So like, you don't know your client. You don't know where your client's coming from, because you're looking everywhere.
Yep.
Choose one, dedicate yourself to that source, give it time to become a source, and then reap the benefits, right? And one of the keys of getting these clients is to knowing how to follow up. There's a lot of people in real estate and in any sales position that call once, maybe twice, and never are heard from again.
Yep.
And that is a terrible, terrible thing. If you've been in sales for more than 2 minutes and you have access to the internet, you know that you need at least 7 touches before you can actually do a piece of business on average.
And I think that number is like actually increasing, because there is so much of different things that are fighting for your attention. Like when people wake up in the morning, some people have family, they also have cell phones. So they go between their emails, social media, children, spouses, and all that is fighting for attention. That they turn on TV, there is advertisement or different news channels. Like everybody is absolutely fighting for the attention. And as a real estate agent, when you're following up, you're actually also fighting for people's attention. And there's there are like absolutely countless stories. One of the ones that I recently heard that was quite impressive. There's a really big commercial broker, Bob Knackle in New York City. Like he's been doing it for a very long time. He has been in touch with somebody for 27 years before they actually listed the building and ended up selling it. What's the moral of the story? Is all of your clients going to take 27 years? No, absolutely not. That is a little bit of an extreme situation. But if you're always chasing the low hanging fruit, you're always going to be kind of like in this spinning wheel. The goal of real estate is, yes, you have some immediate business, but you also work on longevity and longer term business. By the time you're done with the current people who you're working with, your future business matures, and you already earn people's trust, and they're more likely to go with you. Again, there are no guarantees, but they're much, much more likely if you know how to follow up. And
yeah, and that takes us to the next one. The following up is a system. The third mistake that a lot of agents do, salespeople do, they do not have systems in place. Mm-hmm. So the things are always the first time they do it. Even if they have done 10 sales, 100 sales, if you don't have a system in place, you have to always think about what the next step is. You have to always think about what to write on an email, what to say on a phone call, But if you do have a system in place, you can actually delegate. You can get things done without thinking. They just almost happen on their own. You know exactly when to write the right email to the right person. Yep.
And I think I've heard several times from like really good agents that are solo practitioners, usually, that like, oh, I wish I could replicate myself and have like me and people reply like me. So we kind of came to the same place originally, because when it was just Julia and myself running business, we're like, yes, great. We have 15 deals. We know everything what's going on. We're servicing them, like there's really nobody else getting involved. But the challenge is like it starts wearing you out, because there's a lot that just goes through. It's like, think about that Ford or any car manufacturer just decides to like build cars and assign 2 people and be like, all right, well, figure out all the parts, you guys do it manually. Like that's the same comparable here. So as a result, we started by building out systems and structures. It starts with little things like templates, but it also goes more in depth and ingrained. So for example, we get, if we turn on all the lead capacities, we probably get like a couple of 100 leads a month as a result, between buyers, sellers, and like the whole picture. And there's absolutely no chance, and that's not the goal for Julia and I, to be the one servicing them as they come in, at least definitely not the majority. So we built out the system that when the lead comes in, depending on which stage, it gets updated to, whether it's showing homes, whether it's in communication, whether it's submitting offers, all the tasks get generated for the team. So for example, if Javier, you're joining as a salesperson, once you're plugged into the CRM, you will know exactly what to do, what has worked, and like 10 plus years of experience is going to be in your CRM, reminding you of the best practices, whether to meet client early, whether to bring a buyer's guide or the seller's guide, to talk to the doorman, to make sure you bridge that point. And like, this is just a few examples. And the same thing applies for operations team. So once the deal is getting to a deal sheet and places like that, the operation team is going to know exactly what to do. So I think that's like huge, and following up through the systems is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Systems are incredibly important. And then I was talking about this last night with somebody else about like thinking about long-term things, like beyond just this month or this quarter or this year, not thinking about longevity in the real estate industry. It's also a mistake that I see a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. This happens more so with people who are like maybe just 5 years in the industry, who has not had the taste or realization that this is a long-term game. Less so with the people who have been around for 20 years, because they actually had a taste of what this looks like. So to you, what does longevity in real estate look like?
I believe longevity is your reputation with clients, sellers, buyers, landlords, tenants, and you cannot be absolutely perfect 100% of time. Like, I don't care how somebody's social media looks like. that maybe not true that they're always successful and always happy, but I think striving and coming from the good place should be the goal. And what it does, like at least what it has done for me, like over the last 10 plus years, I've met a lot of real estate agents. When we decided to grow the company, I realized that the first agents that came on board with us, it was because we had systems, it was because we had more business, but it also, like I've been told several times, is because they're like, we know you, we know how you operate, and we trust you. So that is, I think that is like ultimate goal and maybe like the ultimate compliment when sellers and buyers trust their real estate agent to keep coming back to them over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think also part of this, it ties up directly with following up and the systems, right? Like if you have a system where you actually keep these relationships ongoing, do you have a past buyers program, a past clients program? I call my past clients forever clients. That's how they are labeled in my CRM because I don't consider them past clients. They are going to be my clients forever until they tell me, I don't want to be your client anymore. I met somebody better. They won't. But I do keep up with them in their birthdays, in their anniversaries. It seems so basic, but I buy Girl Scout cookies from their daughters, and they will always come back to me for all the estate sales that they're dealing with, for all the rentals that they deal with, for all the family real estate things. That it happens that way when you build this trust and this relationship. You become an advisor beyond just the transactional agent. Please never be the transactional agent. Always take an advisory role if you want to last for more than a few years in real estate.
Yep. And I've seen agents come in and out, and like when agents come in and the market is good and they're just going after like low hanging fruit, they're okay. They're like staying afloat. They do a deal there, here, like 3, 4, 5 maybe, but ultimately like it becomes not very sustainable. And they don't end up having the sort of like the snowball effect because building the longevity allows for that snowball effect to come in and to stay there. And as a result, in 5, 6, 7 years, maybe in 3 years, if you're that good, you start getting a lot of repeat business and it starts simplifying your life as well. So I see some really, really good agents. They're like year 5 in the industry and they almost become like fully exclusive by referral. They don't even go after like online leads, which again, you can match those two things if you want to. But I know some people choose that route and they stay constantly, like you mentioned, in the advisory role. I think that brings me to sort of like the fifth point is in order for all of these things to happen, I think you want to be in the right rooms. So for me, I frequently say that a lot of my growth has come in either from mistakes or from being surrounded by the right people, whether it's coaches, mentors, whether it's like, I don't know, I've seen something or heard something online, but that makes a huge difference. So I'll give you an example how we try to replicate it into our company as well. We realize that longevity is important. And interestingly enough, a lot of people open up newsletters that are to do with real estate. I think people open less newsletters of like if, I don't know, if some like clothing brand sends you a reminder that they have a discount, like people get a lot of that. But the real estate ones, because what is like the second most talked about thing in New York City is real estate, people actually tend to open up that newsletter and it makes a huge difference. So we as a company, we actually customize and craft newsletter for each person in the organization and then goes out to their database. We also provide the tools of the automations, the templates. So it becomes more like, all right, well, if you want to increase your client base and you want to work with some people that are coming through different online sources, we have that as well. So usually people within 2 to 3 weeks of onboarding, depending on how quickly they go actually with onboarding, they become a part of plug and play system where they can be already meeting more clients specifically here in Manhattan. And we are doing quite a bit of parts of Brooklyn that are very close to Manhattan as well.
Yeah, knowing the right people, being in the right room, having the right resources is fundamental. And if you don't know the right people right now, then just go out and meet them. New York is full of opportunities to meet people. And if you're not in New York, you probably have opportunities to meet people somewhere else too.
Yep.
I wanted to touch back in the longevity part a second, which also has to do with this right room situation, is that we are in an industry where we are both competitors and collaborators. Part of this longevity plan and part of knowing the right people is having good relationship with other agents in the industry, not just in your town, but outside of your town.
Yep.
I make so much money from referrals from agents from other places and from agents like just an hour away from here. Because we get along, they trust me, they know my business, I know theirs, they know that I am going to take care of their client in a professional way. We actually, most of our systems are similar because we grew in the career together and started putting things together. So we kind of like come from the same school of customer service, and they trust that. And if you have this relationship with other agents, then that is going to grow your business as well. Say they are not in the neighborhood, or they leave town, they move to a different town, or they leave the industry. I have gotten several referrals from people who left the industry and had clients who called them back to transact, and they couldn't, and they connected it with me or with somebody I know. And know the right people, treat them nicely, treat them how you want to be treated. Like really, it's so cliche, but it's so true too. Because if we treat people the way we want to be treated, then they're going to treat us that way. We teach them how to treat us. Same with clients, same with agents. We teach people how to treat us. They treat us well. You know the right people, you get the right business. That's really kind of like the formula. Very easy.
Yeah, it is the formula.
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely. So look, these are 5 things. There's 100 things that agents can do in terms of making mistakes. We have made them all, and there's a few more than we can make. And we promise to make them before you make them, so we come and tell you about them. But for real, find people who have made mistakes in the past so they tell you how not to make them. Like Nikolai said, we have combined 30 some years of experience in the executive team in the company. We work in helping our agents not make the mistakes that we have seen made or we have made ourselves. So take these 5 to start with. And if you're curious of other mistakes that you don't want to make, let us know and we can talk to you about them.
Amazing.
Take care. Bye.